just to give you an idea, or just for you folks, the idea of the meetups is precisely what I said previously, is for you to JV with other people, expand your network, meet other people that are in the multifamily space or are interested in the multifamily space. So that's the concept behind there. What I like to do is be brief. So I'm going to be brief, and to the word, I'll be brief and let you guys take over. So with that, Tim, you were one of the first ones here. So if you could please, by the way, tell us what stage of the real estate investment business you're at. What's your interest in the multifamily? What's your specialty? And lastly, tell us, where you're looking to move forward, and what JV opportunities or what things you're looking to do. So with that said, Tim, I'm going to give you the stage and let you take over. So go right ahead, Tim.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I am Tim Fergestad. I used to do neuroscience research. About 10 years ago, I pivoted and started doing real estate. My wife is a physician. She became the breadwinner. We had kids, so I started working on something that was a little more flexible for me. I'm kind of the fill gap, right? I can work a little more on my schedule. I'm a local agent here in Phoenix, Arizona. Although I don't know why I keep maintaining that license. I do a sale or two a year for friends or family or something. I originally got my license to flip and hold my own plexes. And I didn't like the market here. I ended up going to other states and then better markets where the numbers, things penciled better, and got single family rentals. And ultimately, I also have a land wholesaling company and was a passive investor in multifamily deals. And the multifamily investments beat out all my other efforts and were passive. And I was like, wow, this is silly. Why? So I've sold, I was telling Patrick earlier, I have one single family rental left now. I have some good tenants in there, but at some point I'll get rid of that too, because multifamily is just such a strong asset class, and will be in most markets for another decade at least. Has historically always been a strong asset class. I've gotten a little shiny object syndrome from time to time. I spent quite a while looking into getting residential assisted living homes going, which is kind of a multifamily play. My wife is a physician. The elderly are her favorite patient population. And with the silver tsunami coming and all that, it was something I worked pretty hard into for a couple of years, but ultimately chose not to. Same with short-term rentals and self-storage. Those shiny objects, I've followed those a little bit, but I've realized that multifamily is just such a strong, great asset class. I want to focus and stay in that lane. And I think my investors appreciate that too. Being an expert in one thing. I'm a little newer to the space too. Maybe in a few years, once I feel like I'm a little more established and stronger, maybe I'll start to do some of that. I've come close in the last year or two, and I've just recently realized now I got to focus on multifamily. It's just that awesome and big enough where it's not a problem. If somebody, for example, just not to preach or to get off on this, but self-storage, I know people who somebody built a self-storage right across the street from theirs and they're sunk for years, right? But if in multifamily, somebody built a new one across from you, it's actually probably a good thing, because now there's a class A in your neighborhood and it's making things better. Anyway, so about 3 years ago, I started actively participating in multifamily. I've been a general partner in 4 deals. Although I'm in Phoenix, which is a great market, I've invested in other people's deals in Phoenix, but my deals are in Nashville, Atlanta, and Dallas. I have partners in those markets finding them. And so I stopped sourcing deals here in Phoenix last year. It was just too many plates spinning at the same time. I couldn't underwrite and keep up broker relations and trying to do all the sourcing while doing the asset management and capital raising and all the other stuff. So I joined Hunter Thompson's mastermind on capital raising last summer and have been focusing more on that aspect. So trying to grow my investor base and get better at asset management. And I do help with the acquisitions a little bit. I'll help with that risk capital. I'll help with like earnest money and due diligence. And I've had to fly out to Nashville several times we were acquiring another one in Nashville last year. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still, I'm promiscuous.
Okay.
I have different partners on different projects in different markets. And so I haven't teamed up in the long haul with anyone yet. I'm getting there though. I'm starting to get overwhelmed with the amount of asset management calls during a week and so forth. And there's just a limit to my time and what's going to be able to scale and move forward. Anyway, that was a lot. I hope that was good.
Wonderful, Tim. Wonderful. I think you and many other investors find as they mature as investors that the multifamily space is way too tempting to to disregard, and so I've found that many real estate investors, and I don't think that, or rather, let me restate that. I think that multifamily is becoming a thing. I think it's always been there, but I find that many real estate investors are gaining a real interest in that space, and I think you're proof of that. But I welcome you. I'm glad you're here. Without any further ado, Tess, why don't you hop in and tell us a little bit about yourself? And by the way, Tim, what is the name of your company?
Oak Street Assets.
Oak Street Assets. Very well, very well. Tess, go ahead, please, and why don't you introduce
everyone.
yourself? Good morning. Good morning.
I'm fairly new in the wholesaling aspect of it, of business. I have done quite a few land deals. Started that about 2 years ago. I had to stop taking care of family members during COVID. And I knew I wanted to get back into it and wanted to try wholesaling so I could have my son involved, who's just finishing up university in Miami, and his friend, who are very eager to learn. I'm in northern Massachusetts. So I've been in the last month really starting this out, liking it, getting leads, trying all different angles of marketing. And pretty much it. I've invested in single families in the past in the Jacksonville area. I sold them just because I thought it was going to relocate there, and I didn't. Stayed here in Massachusetts. But I invested in multifamily with a friend. He owns a Freedom Venture, and it's okay. I mean, you get some income, but I prefer it's locked up for a bit longer. But I'd like to take the money afterwards and reinvest in either single family or multifamily when that happens. So I'm eager to learn, eager to network, and also have my son and his friend involved as well. That's pretty much it.
Wonderful, Tess. Wonderful. Are you're from what I I believe we have spoken in the past, but you're also interested in wholesaling multifamily deals as well?
Yes, I mean I'm still learning,
Right.
So yeah, I'll try. I need to learn a little bit more about that. When you say state multifamily, it's 5 or more units.
Well, multifamily, as far as as far as I'm concerned, when you invest in a multifamily, it's 2 or more. It's a multifamily.
Oh, okay.
As far as I see it. Jessica Toth, who's just joined us, she and I have a mutual friend. His name is Zane Ablett, and Zane is out of Texas, and he's a wholesaler. He wholesales multifamilies, and he wholesales some really, really large projects. I know Zane is a very successful multifamily wholesaler. Whoever thought that would be a niche, but it's a very lucrative niche. With that said, Jessica, good morning. Since I brought that up, maybe you can unmute yourself and we'll see your beautiful self and tell us a little bit about yourself and your relationship with Benson Juarez with Privy, and So if you're free, go right ahead and
Hi.
take over.
Hi, everyone. This is really funny because the last time, Patrick, you had a networking event, I was very sick, so I couldn't turn on my camera. And then this
Mhm.
morning, I woke up with a swollen eye. So
Oh, geez.
it's just great timing. I went to the urgent care, so I'm driving right now.
Oh, my,
Um,
okay.
So I won't show my face, but you can hear me. Yeah, so I know Patrick for a long time, and I have a lot of connections in real estate investing, both single family and multifamily. So I like to be on these things because there's always an opportunity to meet more people. I'm currently working on business development at Privy Real Estate Investing Software with Benson Juarez, who's one of the owners there. And basically, that software is right now more focused on single family because the properties, all the data is streamed from the MLS and it's live. We have over 90 major markets around the country where the data is coming in and making it extremely usable for investors. There are some small multifamily, anything that would be posted on the MLS. So sometimes there are smaller multifamilies on the MLS. So that software could be used if you're into smaller multifamily investing. And what makes it great is that instead of looking through a bunch of listings on the MLS or on Zillow and trying to find the investment properties, you could just do a filter looking for something that's like, 55% of the ARV, and then those properties will just come right up. So it'll save you a ton of time. It runs comps. It has a lot of really cool features, but that's what I'm really focused on right now. But I do also I do get involved with some multifamily stuff too. So that's why I wanted to be here. And I also help real estate investors to find virtual assistants to help them in their business so that they can scale. So that's just, I guess, a summary about me.
Wonderful. You're from kind of my neck of the woods, so you want us to share it with everybody where you're from, and then you had mentioned I think in a DM that you have a multifamily deal that you're looking for somebody to work with.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm from New York. I live here now. I moved out of New York City about 3 years ago, just 45 minutes north to where the trees and the animals are. And basically, yeah, so I am working on a deal with someone. I didn't mention it because I think it might be a little bit overpriced what the seller's asking for. It's 24 units in Houston, Texas, and it's they're asking for 2.4 million, and for what we were working out, it seems like a little high. So I'm not 100% confident in it. That's why I was not bringing it up. But if anybody wants more information on it, they can definitely reach out to me and
Great,
send them
great.
the details.
Yep, you never know. What I find is in these meetups, magic happens. People meet, and that's what I love about doing the meetups. I'll just mention we have a REI multifamily meetup every 3 months. We have an REI podcast meetup every 3 months. That's an opportunity for those of you that want to get more reach, want to share more about what you do. For you to be able to line yourself up as a guest on podcast. The next podcast meetup is actually going to be on the first week of May. And we'll normally get about a dozen podcast hosts and anywhere between 30 to 50 other real estate investors. That's a very popular event because who doesn't want to get, greater reach, build out their network, build out their brand. So you'll be getting some invitations to that. We also host there's some of you folks are not going to qualify for it, but we host the REI Women's Meetup, And so we have, my daughter is going to be the host from now on that. I've been the host for a while, but she's going to take over. It's more appropriate for her to be the host. But that's a really interesting meetup where women can, could connect with each other and network with each other. Just to throw in, we also have an REI CollabCon event. We normally get, about 100 to 150 real estate experts, primarily high-end real estate investors, coaches, SaaS company owners, influencers that attend that event. You'll be getting an invitation to that as well. Again, all of what I've mentioned is opportunities for you to build out your network, to JV with people, to connect with other people. So just want to mention that to you as well. With that said, Arthur, good morning. Can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself And let's see if Arthur is with us. While Arthur is getting himself together, there's a connection, an interesting connection, Tim, between your wife and what Aaron does, because Aaron is as far as I understand, a registered nurse. Aaron, is that correct? So there's a connection there. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that, about yourself, and I'll let you take over the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Aaron. I'm working full-time as a registered nurse still. I was hoping to be transitioning out of that hopefully this year and into full-time real estate investing. I am been investing in the US for about a year now, and have a couple groups, Facebook groups, one in Kansas City. That's the main market. I've been focusing in on single family, but I'm definitely more interested in multifamily. Could relate to Tim's story there as well. And just the economies of scale, and it just makes the numbers make sense to me with the multifamily. I'm just underwriting one now in Kansas City, actually, that just came across. It does need quite a bit of rehab, and giving my level of experience, I'll probably just look at wholesaling that property, possibly. And I have met Zane before a few times. I know he specializes in that. So I've been mostly focused on building my buy and hold portfolio, but I've been wholesaling quite a bit over the last year as well. And it's been a great learning experience, but I do definitely want to move on into the multifamily space and continue with some single family. I have a Facebook group for Canadians investing in the US as well, and I have a weekly Facebook Live that I do. I've had Patrick has been a guest on there, and anyone that does that would be interested, it's great. It's just 30 minute interview with different people in real estate. Jessica is with Privy. I'd love to have her on. I had Benson on about 3 weeks ago, I guess, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So it's just every Monday night that I have that. And that's been a great networking for me. And it's been a great experience that way. So like I said, I'm mostly focused in the Kansas City market right now. But for multifamily, I'll be focusing in different markets as well, for sure. And yeah, that's just a little bit about what I'm up to. I could also relate to what Tim said with the shiny object syndrome. And there's just so many opportunities out there, which is awesome. And then I also kind of takes me here and there. And I lose my focus sometimes, but it's been a great year, and looking forward to this year. So.
Aaron, thank you so much. And I think we've all suffered from this, the shiny object syndrome. We're all guilty of that. Yeah, I've been a guest on Aaron's his weekly live. So if you're interested in connecting with other people, there's an opportunity there. Arthur, are you back? I think you might, yes, I think you're back.
I'm back.
All righty. Good morning. Pleasure meeting you. It's Arthur. How do we pronounce your last name?
You want to take a shot at it?
All
I
right.
always have fun when people try it.
Let me put on my glasses and so that I don't really screw it up. So it's Arthur Kirakosian.
Kirakosian.
All
Right.
right. Very well.
It's actually, this is my first exposure to this meetup right here, and I've been involved in the real estate market here in Phoenix. I'm out of Phoenix for about 10 years. I've been involved in multifamily. I actually own a building here in Tucson, and I mostly do single families. I have a lot of rentals around town. Short-term rentals and long-term rentals, but mostly my primary income is from fixing and somewhat wholesaling. I don't do a lot of wholesales. Only when I over leverage myself with my fix and flips. When I come across good deals, I take it down and then I wholesale it out. But mostly I'm trying to get more involved with multifamily, because with my experience in the multifamily space for so little of it, it's been doing really well, and I kind of understood the concept. I pretty much bought a whole building with no money out of pocket, and I was able to pay my investors back within 3 months, get a higher valuation for the building, and make money off of it, and at the same time still have it as a passive income. I don't get involved in it. I have a property manager that runs it for me. It's been a really good gig for me. So it's been a really, really good return for me as well. So I'm like, okay, I want to focus on it more, try to get involved with it a little bit more.
Wonderful. It's funny with the connections. You could probably go grab a cup of coffee with Tim. Tim, you said you're in Phoenix as well, right?
I am. I'm in Arizona. I'm in Northwest Phoenix.
There you go.
Yeah. I live in Gilbert, so
Okay.
yeah.
There's a
The
connection
opposite
there.
side of Phoenix.
Wonderful, wonderful. Arthur, I don't know if you caught what I had mentioned earlier about the different other meetups that I host. Did you catch that?
Honestly, I heard my name in the background earlier when I was on mute, because
Okay.
I was sending my 3.5-year-old to preschool, so I was getting
No
her ready.
problem. I'll repeat it real quick, especially since we've got 3D Property Management that's just joined us. I host various, this event, we host it quarterly, and we'll get anywhere from a dozen to 30, 40 people, depending on, as I say, the weather sometimes. But we also host a REI podcast meetup. It's an opportunity for you to get onto podcasts if that's something that you're interested in. We host the REI Women's Meetup. That's every quarter. And then the REI CollabCon event, which is a real big event. It's a full day event. All my events that I do, whether it's the REI CollabCon event, free online giveaways, which we host, we'll be doing an REI Financial Health Summit. That's going to be the first week of May, where we've got some really heavy hitters in the finance space, everything from infinite banking to spendthrift trust, to investing money in the metaverse, to real estate taxation and bookkeeping for real estate investors. And we'll be discussing that on that summit. All the events are free, but just wanted to mention that. And now that you've joined us, we'll be inviting you to that. With that said, Arthur, it's been great to meet you. I'm glad you joined us. I'm going to switch over and see if we can get good morning 3D Property Management. Are you available to introduce yourself and chat a little bit? I know you've unmuted yourself, so if you can, go right ahead and introduce yourself. And if you're not ready just yet, we'll go ahead and let's see if we can continue with Priscilla. Good morning, Priscilla.
Morning. I was just putting myself off mute. How you doing?
Very well, very well. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at?
So I'm pretty much new to the real estate space these last few months. I come from a digital marketing background, a sales background, did a lot of appointment settings for the digital marketing agency. I also did a lot of project management for big digital marketing agencies. I gave birth to a new baby girl last year. So I told myself I want something that I could build long term and be more sustainable. So I started, building my real estate portfolio. Got into wholesaling about a couple months ago. Started with land. And I'm working with builders where they either buy spec homes. I mean, they build spec homes, or they'll build a multifamily on the lot, depending on what I'm wholesaling at the moment. And currently, as I was on this phone call, I actually just got offered a gig to do appointment setting for a land flipping deal. Like to, try to get more capital raisers on board, more wholesalers on board. So that was pretty cool. I also work with one of my mentors I've been doing for the past 3 years. He does multifamily investing. He's an asset manager. He also works with different investors. So we're working on a project soon that I'll be capital raising for. Always looking to network with other like-minded people, kind of, grow that aspect. And that's just kind of, what I've been doing these last few months so far. So just like Tess, I'm kind of new to the whole, multifamily real estate aspect. So still got plenty to learn, but also have a lot of value I could provide.
Wonderful. I know I said that I'm originally from New Jersey, by the way, northern New Jersey, but my company now and I'm based out of Miami. And Priscilla, you're not too far from me. Whereabouts in Florida are you again?
So I'm exactly in Wellington, Florida, which is Palm
Oh,
Beach
okay.
County. It's an hour north of Miami. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, raised in the Palm Beach County area. I always tell myself, like, throughout my life, I was like, I want to travel to different places in the US because I don't want to just live in Florida forever, but I realize I don't like cold weather. So it looks like this is gonna be my residence.
And everybody, and a lot of people die to go to Florida anyway because of the
Yeah.
weather.
So I just learned to be like, I'll just travel everywhere, but I'll just keep my main home here.
Wonderful, wonderful, guys. I encourage you to reach out to each other. I've been, and I'll just tell you real quick. I did my first fix and flip about 33 years ago. I started out as a real estate agent and then a broker in northern New Jersey, and I was a builder and a real estate investor for decades there. And what I have found is, even back then, is that sometimes the newer people bring you deals that are really sweet. And so I find that it doesn't matter what level the people you JV with or the people in your network. There's people in your network that are different levels, different stages in their career. And I find it not necessarily, and this is for those of you guys that are newer, that the fact that you're newer doesn't mean you can't bring value to somebody that could be at the other end of the business, at the other, far more advanced. So I encourage you to reach out to each other and set up your own Zoom meetings and see where there's some synergy between among you. I'm going to go ahead and introduce a really great a fella. I wouldn't want to get into a street fight with him or even get into the rig with him. His name is Chris Deal. I think he's got a mean kick. He's a martial artist expert, but that's many things. I know he just had a baby. So Chris, if you can unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, if you're ready. If you're not ready, we'll jump on to Jamel. And I think Chris might, there we go. Go ahead, Chris. If you're ready, go ahead, and the floor is all yours.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
All righty.
I'm just walking out the door right now, so I'm just kind of getting things together. But yeah, Patrick, great being on. Appreciate the warm welcome. And yeah, so I mean, a little bit about me. I've been in sales for about 25 years, mainly with residential home improvements, all different types of stuff, actually cars. I mean, you name it, I pretty much sold it. So that really gave me a massive understanding of dealing with sellers. And so eventually I ended up working at Fortune Builders for a period of time. That's where I connected with my current business partner, Christian Weatherspoon. He was with them for about a decade as a real estate coach. And we ended up starting our business March of 2020, right in the throes of COVID, when live events basically got shut down. So Fortune Builders' whole process and methodology of doing things pretty much was eradicated. So yeah, we both got laid off from there and said, okay, well, you know, no better time to start a business. So we incorporated. Hold on one second. You guys hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we incorporated in March 2020, and he had been flipping for quite a long time, since like 2008, 2009. And so we started Lazarus Property Group. In addition to flipping houses and mainly wholesaling, we've not really done a ton of flips just because we wanted to avoid it, all the risk and challenges.
Chris, you froze there for a second. Go ahead again, please.
So we've got the investing business. Can you guys hear me now?
I'm going to recommend that you turn off your camera so that the connection is better, and we can hear you better.
All right. Can you hear me now? How's that?
Much better. Much better.
Okay. So yeah, so we actually have multiple businesses right now. We have our investing business where we focus mainly on single family and small multifamily residential, which is Lazarus Property Group. And then we have a education company. So if you go on YouTube and you look up Real Estate Investing Made Easy, that is our education company where we put out content around all the things that we do in our business. Around different software platforms we're using, how to use them, how to leverage them in your business. We're developing systems, tools, and products that people can use in their own business to speed up the process and shorten the learning curve. And then additionally, we partnered up with, Tim Fergstad is on here, with Groundswell Assets. So we partnered up with them to do multifamily syndication deals. So that's really exciting. And then currently we are in the process. We're really close to locking up a transaction where we're purchasing an RMLO that does full loan origination in all 50 states, specifically for creative finance, seller finance, things of that sort. And the cool thing about that, probably the coolest part about that is we're getting it 0 money down, 0% seller finance. So that's really exciting. And we're doing a lot of creative finance stuff as well. So, that's really exciting. We've learned a lot. We joined the Sub 2 community back almost a year ago and learned all these different creative finance strategies and been implementing that. And it's really helped our businesses grow pretty significantly. So that's in a nutshell. But I'm always open to collaborate, help. If people have questions and want to meet up and hop on a Zoom and, pick my brain. I don't know everything, but I generally, I know a decent amount. And if I don't know the answer, I usually know somebody that can get the answer or knows the answer. So, if there's anything anybody needs help with, I'm happy to connect and just network and, try to do business together and grow together.
Wonderful, Chris. Do you want to tell everybody where's your neck of the woods, and tell us a little bit about your baby, who I think is she a year old or close to it by now?
Yeah. So we just adopted a baby in December. She was born December 8th. She is the light of our lives. It's been an amazing journey, stressful journey. My wife and I have been dealing with infertility for 6, 7, almost 8 years, trying to get pregnant, tried IVF, everything, like nothing worked. So, really, really big struggle, but you know, the Lord provided and, you know, made a way for us to go through the adoption process. And so we got matched back in July with a birth mother, you know, who's just dealing with some real challenging times in her life and, you know, isn't capable of raising a baby on her own. And, you know, praise the Lord, she chose not to abort like, you know, many people do today. And so we were blessed in December to be able to be in the delivery room and basically get to see everything from beginning to end. And, you know, now we got this baby who's just amazing. She's the sweetest little girl in the world. I always wanted to, you know, have a boy, but the closer we got to the gender reveal, just had this overwhelming feeling that I wanted a girl, and man, I couldn't be happier. She's just, yeah, she's just amazing. I've got nothing but great things to say.
Congrats, congrats. So you got a wonderful Christmas present.
Oh man, yeah, best Christmas present. We actually did the gender reveal on my 40th back in September, so that was like the best birthday present ever. Finding out I had a little girl come in.
Right.
So yeah, it's just been awesome, and you know, it's helped us grow so much in our marriage, and you know, in my faith, and everything. And you know, we're based out of San Diego. My wife and I, my acquisitions manager and business partners in San Diego as well. My other business partner is in Arizona. A couple business partners in Arizona, one flying out to Hawaii. You know, we're doing deals, you know, single family. We'll do deals just about anywhere, but we are marketing Southern California, Indianapolis, and the entire state of Florida, a little bit of Tennessee, Alabama, you know, Carolinas and Georgia a little bit. But the big ones are Florida, Indianapolis, and Southern California.
Super, super. Thanks, Chris. By the way, guys, just to let you know, between Chris and his partner, Christian, they have an amazing network. They know a ton of people. I know Christian specifically, his partner, who had been in Fortune Builders for over a decade, knows a lot of people. So leverage this opportunity that we're together. Reach out to Chris. I know both Chris and his partner are very giving. They're very generous with their time, and they're the type of people that, you know, they're ethical people. They're, you know, part of it is their faith. And I know a lot about, you know, Chris, about that with both you and Christian, but they're really ethical people that you can really reach out to and rely on. So I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity, because I'll repeat it, their network is just amazing. And as Chris said, if he doesn't have an answer or connection for you, he could probably know somebody in his, you know, in his network, in his sphere of influence that could help you, you know, if you need anything. So thanks, Chris. It's been wonderful to see you. By the way, there might be an interesting connection between you and Jamal. Jamal is he has a SaaS product. So you guys might want to connect. You might be able to help each other in that, you know, with what you do, Chris, and with, you know, I know you have a lot of spokes in the fire, but between what you do and what Jamal does. Hey, Jamal, if you're free, why don't hop on in and introduce yourself? As I said early on, when we started, tell us a little where you're at, where you're from. What's your business? What's your experience, and what's your interest in the multifamily space?
Thanks, Patrick.
Sure, Chris. Sure. And Jamal, if you can hear us, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if not, we'll go ahead and while you're getting yourself together, we'll hop over. And good morning, Christy. How are you this morning? And if you would go ahead and unmute yourself, Christy, I'll give you a chance to go ahead and introduce yourself. And I think we've got two people that are waiting on the sidelines. 3D Properties, if you want to hop in, and if not, we'll go right ahead and we'll talk to, I think it's Adis or Addis. If you want to unmute yourself, go right ahead and introduce yourself. And if we get no takers, what I'm going to do in the meantime, we're 46 minutes into our meeting. I'd like to keep these meetings at most to an hour, you know, out of respect and courtesy to your time. That's why sometimes I'm afraid when we get 40 people that come on, because it's hard to stay you know, within the hour. If you want to unmute yourselves, and if you want to ask any questions, either to me or to each other, go right ahead. In the meantime, if either Ada, Jamal, or 3D Properties or Christy, if you're ready to join in and introduce yourselves, go right ahead and jump in. Does anybody have any questions either for me or anyone else at the moment?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, who are we listening to?
I had technical difficulties.
No problem. Okay, this is 3D Property Management. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Vanessa with 3D Property Management. We are a real estate / property management company. We are based out of Fresno. We started as just a real estate company that started helping investors purchase multifamily. And we also started with short-term rentals. So we have about 12 short-term rentals right now. And we've been doing a pretty good job. And turns out that we did such a good job that they just kept bringing us properties, and these investors kept coming to us. And we have a real estate agent, Catherine Davenport, that she's the bomb when it comes to multifamily. So they keep coming back to us, and we started last year, March, with about 20 properties, and we're up to like 100 and something already. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So yeah, so we are just trying to grow and trying to learn and just do a good job so we can keep growing. And yeah, that's, and I just run the property management department. Also, we do short term, so in case anybody needs some assistance with that, we do that for traveling professionals and traveling nurses.
Vanessa, what's your full name?
Vanessa Nunez.
Nunez. Okay, and Vanessa, so you manage not only residential but multifamily as well for investors?
Yes.
And that's primarily in California, or is it where do you provide those services? Just it would be nice for everyone to know.
We're just doing the Central Valley right now, just because we just kind of started and we're still a small team. So we have properties in Hanford, Clovis, Madera, and here in Fresno. So we're up to doing bigger complexes now. We just picked up a 24-unit complex, and we're about to pick up a 57-unit complex. So kind of what we specialize mainly is if we have a property, or if an investor has a property that is not making income, or the tenants are not paying rent and the landlord doesn't know how to go and start serving notices, we'll help from the start to the end, even with the project management. So we'll help get the people out, provide 60-day notices, evictions if needed, and then we help them renovate the unit, and I will project manage that as well. And then we start the marketing, and then we'll property manage the property.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a valuable service. I'm glad you joined us. Good to meet you. I'll mention for those that entered in a little bit later, if you'd like to give Martin is one of the members on my team. If you'd like to send him your phone number and your Facebook profile URL, please do so. We're going to create an Excel sheet, and later on this afternoon, you're going to get a recording of this meeting and an Excel sheet with everyone's contact information. We're also going to send a copy of the recording, not the Excel sheet, but the actual recording to anybody that's registered. As I mentioned, we had a little over 75 people that registered. So some people will register for an event, and then they see the recording, when they have some time. So we're almost towards the end. But I'm going to go ahead and see if we can have Dean introduce himself. So Dean, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what's your interest in the multifamily space.
Yeah, hi everybody. Dean, I'm in Southern California. I've been actively investing in real estate the last several years. I think it like began in 2019. This past year, started an asset management and transaction service firm with a couple of partners, and right now we're managing a multifamily property in San Antonio, or asset managing, I should say, and then as well as North Carolina, and a couple of industrial buildings as well. And we're just looking to grow our firm and begin to start to do our own syndications, and as well as grow our client portfolios.
Very well, Dean. First, I should have started off by saying pleasure meeting you. I know this is the first time you're at the meetup. I'll repeat it. I may get redundant here, but reach out to each other. Make an effort, guys, to reach out to each other. What I'd like to do is to kind of start the ball rolling, and so that you guys can go ahead and connect with each other. It's amazing. I have a little network of a network, a little over 500 people that are predominantly in my space. They're coaches and SaaS company owners and what have you, folks like yourself as well. And it's amazing, but I'll speak to somebody, maybe a meeting, and we'll have a second meeting, and it's only the third or fourth meeting where we find that there's a connection that we never knew was there. So it's good to reach out to each other, stay connected in order to, sometimes right under your nose, there's an opportunity. You don't know about that unless you network with each other. So I always encourage, you to do that. So Dean, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself. If there's anybody that didn't get a chance to talk, that would like to talk, introduce themselves, go right ahead. And if not, does anybody else want to add anything or any questions? And I think with that said, oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just wanted to, I don't know how I got on your mailing list
Okay.
a few months back. And I want to thank you for that. That information you sent is very, very useful. And you got to send a lot of cool stuff that I've implemented in my business, and it's worked wonderful. I just don't know how I got on it, but however I got on it, I thank the heavens for it, because it's actually very useful. And I wanted to personally thank you for that.
No problem. Whoever of you are, and I think you all will wind up on my email list, by the way. I don't like to sell. I like to promote and like to share content. I host, and I'll make this short because this is not about me, but I host a lot of events for real estate experts. They're all free events. So we have an event coming up with Ben Lovro in a week. He's the founder of the Investor Syndicate. He's got a connection with firms on Wall Street for you to sell your properties. And so we hosted with Benson Juarez. We did an event with him with Privy. We just finished an event with the founder and the owner of Alexo Deal Flow. We've done an event, speaking of capital raising, with Dan Satosky. Dan is probably, him and A. Majori, I think, are probably the top capital fundraising coaches in the country. They have an amazing network. Dan has access. He's invested over $300 million worth of real estate. Just a very big player in the industry. By the way, he's going to be one of the guest speakers on the REI Financial Health Summit that I'll be doing in May. He'll be attending the REI CollabCon event as a speaker. So I always try to, introduce to those that are on my email list opportunities for you to learn free of charge. So to attend these events, in the case of the people that we launch events for, they're workshops, boot camps, or challenges where you could go in and learn and, you better hone the craft, hone your skills and get better at your craft. So with that said, we're at 10:56. CST, 11:56 EST, for those that are in the eastern part of the country. I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to meet those people that have come on for the first time. We hold the REI Multifamily Meetup, as I said, on a quarterly basis. So please join us again on our next one. And with that said, I wish all of you a wonderful day and much success in the real estate investment business.
Thank you, Patrick. This
Have a
was
good
great.
one.
Thank you,
Wonderful,
Patrick.
guys. My pleasure. Have a good day. Bye-bye to
Yeah,
you
you
all.
too.
Thanks.